Hi, welcome to Journey with Colin Cycling. Today, kind of came up last night. I was laying in bed thinking about this, but all and most of my videos and blogs and um, stuff actually pertains to self awareness, and I think sometimes I forget to mention that our self awareness is also a discovery. So I think today I'm going to kind of title it more along the lines of a discovery of self awareness. And I think the best way that I can describe that is to kind of give an experience of myself, which took many, many years. And I just kind of came into the awareness of this discovery myself. So, like, for many years, I'm actually going to say almost 30 years now. Um, if I think back, my first actual self aware discovery was the fact that I had mentioned something to somebody. It was along the lines of, I had opened up. I had become vulnerable in front of a group of people in a certain situation. And I had mentioned that I had this sense, I had this feeling about something. And this person, he basically shot me down and said there's no such things of having a sense or feeling about something. It just is or just not. And it kind of made me, so for years after that, I just quit talking to anybody about that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until within probably, I'm going to say, the last 6 to 7 years that I actually started aligning myself with people that could talk freely about this stuff, talk about awareness, talk about self development, people that actually looked into expanding themselves from within out and quit trying to expand yourself from outside in, right? Like going out and buying something and stuff like that. And I'm very good at that. Um, so I just kind of, one of my experiences, the fact that in my life, and I've heard a lot of other people, and everybody deals with this. The subject is an awareness of fears. And now, when I say fear, I'm kind of talking along the lines of anxiety, even depression, hopelessness, loss, lack of, sort of thing. All those feelings are all kind of turned into one. And I've actually had, if I think back, there's been actually three big situations in my life that have contributed to what people call nowadays panic attacks. Back then, I just knew I would get the shakes, I would get the sweats, I would get the nauseous feeling in the stomach, I would get the twisting in the gut, I would get the butterflies, I would get the tightening in the chest, I would get the shortness of breathing, and that all happened at once, like within seconds, and just in the whole body. And I realized that that would kind of overtake me for minutes at a time, a couple of times a week sometimes. And this is starting way back, yeah, it was when I was a young person, a teenager. And I just kind of pushed it off the side because, well, um, I'm having this thought, I'm having these feelings about stuff that everybody else is doing also. So if they're doing it and they're not having it, then it must be something wrong with me. So I'm not going to tell anybody about it. Now, as I grew and as my life changed, so did that situation. And I cannot, I don't, can't remember if I said this, but I can honestly say right now there's three circumstances in my life that that whole situation would get to me. And of those three, the first one started when I was a teenager. The second one started like when I was actually starting onto the journey of actual life. Um, and it would happen a couple of times a week sometimes. Sometimes I was able to push it off. I was able to just pretend that, hey, there's nothing wrong with anything going on here. There's everything is good. And you know how you do that. And then the next situation changed. And now, this third situation, I finally, since I became into awareness the last 7 or 8 years of working on myself and not even being in awareness that I'm working on myself, but I was, by getting all the self-help books, by the motivational books, by the inspirational books, by going to seminars and working on myself. I was actually developing and growing my self-awareness, and I was actually discovering a lot about myself, but I wasn't really aware of it until the last couple of years. Now this is an ongoing process. Like there is something deep, deep inside. Like there is a longing. There's a desire inside to learn. There's a desire inside to get experience and more knowledge. But it's kind of weird. I couldn't explain it, but now I'm gonna try and explain it. It's stuff that you don't go to school to learn. It was experiences you don't get in everyday life, and now I can think of the one word that might sum it all together. It's esoteric knowledge and readings. And when I first came across the word esoteric, and it was basically knowledge pertaining to the select few, and that kind of at that point in time, I was just kind of growing into it. And when I heard that theory, like I loved, for some reason, I loved all these books on philosophy. I loved all this esoteric knowledge and books. And I don't even know if I'm saying the word right, but I was interested, but I was confused. I didn't understand it. Anything from a theosophical point of view, from Madame Blavatsky with The Secret Doctrine or Isis Unveiled, to A Course in Miracles, to even the Emerald Tablets, to all that stuff. Like I could go on. I can list books, you know, um, and I've read them, and I honestly I wouldn't be able to read the book and explain to you what it meant because I can't. But I kind of understood it inside. Intuitively, I knew it. Now, getting back, a little rambling there, but getting back is over the course of all that time with all the extra courses I've taken so many online courses with psychology and mindfulness and awareness and energy work and energy healing and spirituality and nutrition and weight loss management. And I've taken so many courses. I was so interested in all. It was so great. I was learning all this stuff and experiencing all this stuff. And finally, it just all came into head where I realized, and I think the only way I can really explain this is I knew there's one area that I just had to work on because it just hit me where the point where I'm still suffering from this huge bouts of anxiety and fear, and it's just like I couldn't quite place it. So I just opened up, and the way I'm going to describe it is I was going to think in the beginning that it was a jar of marbles. So you take one marble out and another one replaces it, but that's not it. It was a bucket full of trinkets, full of anything, full of just misshapen pieces. And you take one piece out and on this one subject or situation, and this was fear. But they're all fear. I have surrounded this situation, this topic, with so many fear episodes of fear of rejection, fear of failure. But it wasn't just that, it was fear of rejection from this person, fear of rejection from my parents, fear of rejection from myself, fear of rejection from the boss, fear of rejection from all these people in my life. And then on top of that, for every fear, there was anxiety part of it too, right? I'm anxious because I'm afraid of this. So that all came to head. And I had to pull each piece out. Now, here's the thing. I've been working on this for a couple of years, remember? So every time I pulled something out, and I pulled a couple things out of this bucket of crap that I had that I was dealing with in life, and I pull it out and I deal with it. Okay, yes, I understand I have this fear about this and this fear about this, and there's nothing I control about this person because that's how this person thinks. So I'm starting to slowly get into that aspect of I can't control how other people think. And that's where a lot of my fears came by, was what's this person going to think of me? And I started getting that over here. But here's the problem. I would take some issues out, some fear issues, some anxiety issues, some other issues, whatever issues, and I put them off to the side, pulling them out of the bucket. The bucket's getting empty. But then I turn and I forget about it for a couple hours, a couple days. And I'd come back. And in that time, a couple of those things that I took out would actually magically somehow get back in there again. So I'd have to pull them back out. And here's the other thing is the longer you take, the harder it is to get back in there. And you come back and you look at that bucket and realize, oh, everything actually piled back in and more stuff got piled back on top. It's like, oh, crap. So finally, I was able to get right down emptied this bucket. And I'm looking inside. I'm going, okay, so where's the answer? What, what's going on? And then it hit me. It was just kind of like the awareness of everything that I've been doing and everything in my life. Just the reason why I had this panic about these certain situations and circumstances in my life is because I wasn't giving myself the control that I needed. I was feeling a loss of control. I'm thinking this is all about what self-awareness discovery is you discover that a lot of the stuff that we do in our life, we're looking for the control, but there's actually no control out there when we're looking on the outside. Now, when I went inside and started pulling everything out, and I got to that empty bucket, and the realization of the fact that all these years, my main issue was not the fact that the fears of everything, the anxieties of everything. The main issue that I had was the fact I didn't know what I was doing and for what reason. I did everything because this is what I was supposed to do. And then the realization and the actual awareness came in the fact that everything that I did had a purpose, but it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't the purpose I was supposed to be following. And I think we all have that. We all have that inside. There's that desire, there's that urge, there's that longing. There's a certain purpose all of us need to find and to follow. And that's one of the first parts of coming into our awareness is finding that purpose, defining it for ourselves. And the next step of that is to start following that purpose. And with that, I hope that makes life even more unclear. Sorry. I never did say I'd come up with all the answers. I just come up, there's some answers, and for every answer, there's going to be more questions. So, have a great day. Happy discovery. And you want to know what? Self-awareness is amazing, full of energy, and limitless. Have a great day.